Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow. Welcome to BotBrained.ai. Now, today, this video should be the very first thing you do when you're talking about agentic engineering, using Claude or Codex or any of these platforms to build just about anything. There are several platforms that you really need to get set up beforehand, because it makes everything easier from then on, because ultimately you're going to need one, sometimes all of them, depending on what you're building and how complex it is. So we're going to go over what these are. The first one you're going to need is this is Github. And I want to make sure you understand too that some of this stuff is going to sound intimidating. It's not, I assure you. It looks technical, and you have to understand that people have been using some of these platforms manually for years. Okay, so now once your accounts are set up, your AI is going to handle most of this stuff pretty much on its own. Okay, it's just a matter of getting the account set up. So I'm going to assume that you already have a Gmail account, okay, because it's going to be the easiest way to get a lot of this stuff set up. I made myself some notes that are going to help kind of explain what these things are so that you kind of understand. So GitHub, they call it the undo button. This is the one that makes agentic development safe rather than reckless. When you let Claude Code rewrite 14 files in one pass, Git is the only thing standing between bold refactor and I just destroyed my weekend. Commit before every agent run, review the difference after, revert without ceremony. So basically, every time you update an application, it segments it. So you can go back to a previous build if you do something that doesn't work or it has bugs or what have you. It's also the identity layer for the other three. So the other platforms that we're going to set up, typically you're going to log in with your GitHub account, because a lot of what you're building is going directly to GitHub first, and then it's being distributed to the other platforms that we're going to set up here today. Okay, so basically all we're going to do is you go to github.com and you click sign up. All right, and you're going to have this sign up form. You can do it directly with just like an email password if you want. If you just want to do that manually, you create your own password. But if you have a Gmail account, which I've set up a bunch of demo accounts specifically for BotBrained. So I'm just going to click my BotBrained Gmail, click continue, and there we go. Now this is going to give me the opportunity to create whatever username I want. And then my region. So wherever you are in the world, this kind of helps because you're going to be doing a lot of uploading and sometimes downloading back and forth between GitHub, or at least your agent is. So you want to pick an area that, you know, that's closest to you. You can sign up for Copilot, free for coding assistance on the web. I just have that as yes. And then you just click create account. I don't even know, it's automatically creating a username. That's fine. I'll just go with it. Okay. And that's it. So now my GitHub account is set up, and then I can create a repository. I don't really need one yet, but what's going to happen is we're going to connect our AI model, whether that's Claude or Codex or Hermes or whatever you're using. And then once it connects, when it wants to spin up a new repo, then it'll just do that on its own. It'll name it, create it. You know, we're going to be able to tell it, or oftentimes it's going to make them private from the beginning. So, but this is GitHub. You're logged in. It's ready to go. Now, next is Supabase. Now, Supabase is basically like the database. Okay, so if you're building an application that has to store data, whether it's usernames or user accounts or trade data or notes, whatever the case is, you have to have a database for that, right? And Supabase is basically the easiest platform. And keep in mind, with the GitHub account, Supabase, all the accounts we're setting up, we're just basically entering the entry level free tiers. Like, these are not big paid anything yet, and you're probably not going to need to at all ever. But if you start really building, you're going to want to upgrade. Some of them are like, you know, 10, 20 bucks a month. Some of them are just use based. So it's not really ever going to get very expensive unless you become like a power user and a, you know, complete bot brain like me. So we want to sign in to Supabase, and you'll notice right here, you can sign in with your GitHub account, which is what we want to do. So we're just going to continue with GitHub, and we're going to authorize Supabase, and then it's going to redirect us. And our Supabase account will basically be pretty much set up. Okay, so now we're logged in as a new organization into Supabase. And, you know, I can name it. What's the name of your company or team? I'm just going to say BotBrained. And this is personal. You can see this is a free tier at $0 a month. Pro tier is $25. And then a team tier is $600. We're never going to worry about that. So we're just going to go ahead and create the organization as BotBrained. Or whatever organization name you have. Now, once we're in here, we're going to click connect GitHub, because GitHub is going to work from this. We've logged in using our GitHub account, but we haven't really connected with it yet. So we're going to connect GitHub, and then you can't see mine, but an authorization screen pops up. I'm going to click continue. It just says authorize Supabase. And it gives me another screen. I'm clicking authorize. Again, you can't see it, but you should be seeing it on your end. And then project name, I'm just going to say BotBrained demo. Password, I'm just going to have it generate a password, and then I can copy this. You can't see it, but when you this level down where it says database password and you generate a password, copy that and then like just paste it into a text file or something. You can regenerate it later if you want, but it just for the sake of having it, I would just save it. And then you name your project whatever you want. I'm just naming it BotBrained demo. Name it whatever you want. Then I create new project, which is a tab. It's the green button on the bottom right. I don't technically have a project just yet, but it's okay. All right, so now I have everything set up on Supabase. Now, what we just did in setting up the demo and all of this stuff, we're probably not going to end up using that specifically. It's just a part of setup. We can use it if we're just going to mess around, but ultimately, you know, we're set up, we're good to go. Now we're going to go to Railway. Railway is you're not going to use Railway as much. Long-running containers, Discord and Telegram bots, scrapers, queue workers, scheduled jobs, agent loops that run for minutes rather than milliseconds. Anything that has to be alive when you're sleeping lives here. So basically, if you think about Railway as if you're going to set up any kind of function that's going to be recurring from cron jobs or anything that needs to be done consistently over time, that's what's going to happen on Railway. You could almost look at it like your own, like a little agent, you know what I mean? That kind of continues spinning things up and doing all that. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We're going to click sign in. We're going to continue with GitHub again. So we're going to sign in with our GitHub account. You got the authorization screen. You click authorize, being redirected to the authorized application. And here we are. I agree with Railway's terms of service. It's showing all these things. I'm not allowed to set this up with crypto miners. No fraud, no pirated content. Basically, don't do bad stuff or you're going to lose your account. Yes, I agree to the fair use. Now, that's it. We're set up with Railway. We can create a new project. We're going to install the GitHub app. It's giving me another authorization. So all repositories, because if we're building something, we want to make sure that Railway has access to all the repositories in case we need to get something set up. And I have another pop-up window here, but I don't need to do anything here at this point. We've got Railway set up. We can log in. We can authorize Claude when the time is right, and that's it. Okay. Now we're going to go over to Vercel. Vercel, push to main, get a URL. Preview deployments are the underrated features for agentic work. The agent opens a pull request. Vercel builds it as its own URL, and you look at the actual working thing before merging instead of trying to read intent out of a diff. So basically, in a sense, you can use Vercel. It's going to host some of the applications. It's going to do a variety of different things. But ultimately, the hobby plan is free forever, but it's restricted to personal, non-commercial projects. And any site earning money needs pro. So if you're using Vercel in an application you plan on selling access to for real money, then you're going to want to have a Vercel Pro plan. But that's pretty much it. So we're going to sign up. We're going to continue with GitHub. We're going to authorize. We're going to wait for that authorization to conclude, and then you'll basically be set up. You're going to want to add your phone number here, and then click continue. And then your Vercel account should be set up. Everything outside of that, what's going to happen is when you're building an application or a website, or you're building something, and Claude or Codex or any of these agents, they're going to automatically say, we need you to get, let's log into your GitHub. We're going to set this up on Supabase. We're going to do this and that. And it's going to prompt you from there. And what's going to happen is when it wants to access one of these, it's going to open your browser window, and you're just going to get an authorization button. Yes, I approve it. Yes, I approve it. And your agent's going to do everything else. You just want to make sure that you have these accounts set up so that when your agent calls on them to use them for something, you have it ready, you have it available. And once you've authorized it, once you've gone through and authorized all these the first time, then it will remember. So at that point, Claude you're not going to have to authorize anymore. If it wants a new GitHub repo, if it wants to set up a new project on any one of these, it's just going to be able to automatically spit it up, do it, and you're going to see the end result. You're not going to have to go through this process over and over. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's very simple. There's anything to it. Once you've set up your GitHub, everything else is pretty much clickety click, click, and you're done. So, but it is important that it gets done. So, that being said, make sure you get that taken care of. And if for whatever reason, when you're setting something up, if you're like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here, just screenshot it, drop it into Claude or Codex and say, here's what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what to do next. And it will tell you. Go to the left side of the screen. There's a button here or a link here. Click that, do this, do that. It'll guide you through the rest of the process if there's anything you have to do manually. The other side to this too is if there's ever a time when your agent is trying to tell you, you've got this huge list of things to do manually, it does that often by default, probably to save tokens. But if it's very confusing, sometimes I'll just say, do everything that you can on your own without me manually helping. Let me know what's left. And I just tell the agent that, and it'll say, you're right, I should have just done this to begin with. And then it'll go and it'll do everything. And there might be one thing you have to do manually or something, if anything at all. So that being said, thank you for joining me in this video in BotBrained.ai, and I will see you soon.